And we're just going to talk about the job and
Okay.
BS kind of.
Okay.
All right. I'm now talking with Nancy Hutchins. She's the Branch County Register of Deeds. Nancy, welcome to our community.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the Register of Deeds office. And for people that don't know what type of work goes on there, kind of explain that to me a little bit.
We're a recording office only. A lot of people think that we draft documents. We do not draft any documents. We don't give legal advice. We strictly review documents when they come in. If they meet the recording requirements, we record them. So people say, well, how could you have recorded that if it's not right? Well, we don't have any control over what's right or what has a legal bearing. We're just a recording office, but we do record everything that pertains to real estate within Branch County.
Now, are we talking about buying and selling or
Leasing,
whatever the case is?
Mortgaging, anything that is real estate related. The majority of our documents have to include a legal description, not just the address. In fact, oftentimes they don't have an address, but they have the legal description, like lot number 1 of Meadowbrook or whatever. We review the documents when they come in. We record them. We put a document stamp on them. We scan them, we index them, and when we index, we put all the pertinent information that's on that document in there so that it's accessible to anybody that comes in. You can come into our office and search for free.
Okay.
We have 4 public stations, and you have to search by name. So if you want to look up your documents, you just put your name in, your last name, a comma, and your first name, and it'll bring up everything that's in our system that has your name on it, whether it be a mortgage, a lease, tax liens. We get tax liens.
Let me ask this. Who brings the documents in? Are we talking about the realtors bringing them in, the contractor, or is it just everybody?
Typically, we don't see too many realtors. Occasionally we do. Primarily, it's banks, title companies. We get a lot of them in by mail, UPS, FedEx, regular mail. They come in every day. We review them, record them, and send them back out the next day. We are current. At one time, they were quite a ways behind before I took office, and it was creating a problem for people because they couldn't, if they bought, say, a farm for an investment and they couldn't sign it up for the CRP program or something because they couldn't prove they owned it because they didn't have their documents back. But we are current. We've updated the computer program. So, in fact, we're now contemplating upgrading again. So,
How long does it take from the time you get those documents to have them recorded then?
well, I recorded one this morning for a guy that needed it right away.
Okay, all right.
So, it took me probably 10 minutes by the time it went through the entire process.
Okay. And how many people work in that office?
I have a staff of, including myself, there's 2.5 people. So there's myself, a chief deputy, and then a half-time employee who works in the mornings in equalization. And that's been a big bonus for us because the 2 offices deal with the same information. And it's been a benefit because now that we know what they do and they know what we do, we can help each other.
Now, there's been kind of a boon with the, people remortgaging their houses, a variety of things like that. Where are you at now in the fall of 2013? Is we going up? We going down? Is there a lot of things going on?
Our document count is up about 300 from last year, and last year we were up. I can't remember how many, but we were up from the previous year. So it is increasing in our revenue at this point in time. We're up about $15,000 from last year at this time. But this last couple weeks we've been slow. Now whether that holds out like that, I don't know. And we often say, I wonder what's going on. But we are doing better.
Are you? Is your office? Would that be kind of a barometer of what is happening out in our community, or not really?
To a certain degree, our sheriff's deeds are down significantly. Whereas 3-4 years ago, we had 150 some. And I don't know if that's because they foreclosed on all the houses.
Okay.
Or if the banks are working with people more, so we're not getting nearly as many foreclosures as what we've had in the past. That's really slowed down, which is good.
Right. Now, you've been in the office for quite a while now. You know, do you like it? What's the thing that you like most about your job?
I like the work that's done. I like the feeling of accomplishment when you get everything done, and it's fun when somebody comes in and they have a problem and they can't find, they need this document, and we can go back to 1950 and find what they need for them. Because people, it's amazing how many people don't know where their deed is.
Right. Right. So if I had a question, or I'm getting ready to sell my house, or I have a question about a property line, would I come to you then? Your office, or do I go to somebody else's office?
Well, you would come to our office and get a copy of your deed so it has your legal description.
Okay.
And your next step is go to a surveyor, because we have no idea where your lot lines are.
Okay.
And people say, well, I read it in the deed and it says it's this many feet. Well, but you got to have a starting point and an ending point, and it takes a professional person to be able to tell you exactly where your lot lines are.
Nancy, one other thing before we go. So the county is having all kinds of budget problems. Does that affect your office?
Definitely. Definitely. I had a meeting with the administrator yesterday to cut more out of my budget, and we're getting to the point now where we've cut so much that it's going to be difficult for us to operate.
When you say cut, what type of things are you cut?
We're down now to people or hours, and I don't have that many, that my staff is limited. And if I'm going to cut people, then I'm not going to be able to keep the office operating.
Right.
We've cut office supplies. We've cut part of the thing that is costly is the equipment that we have, the computer equipment. We have, a couple years ago, we purchased a large format scanner, printer, copier. So all of our plat maps are scanned into that, so that you don't have to pull out the plat books. They're old documents and they're very fragile. So now they're all in the system, and people can just pull them out and look at them on the screen and print them if they need to. But the maintenance agreement on that equipment is probably $1,500 to $1,800 on the different copiers and what have you.
All right, so you need
and
business
that we
to
have
get,
no control over.
You need business to get up, so we don't have to worry about this.
Right, exactly.
About the budget cuts and all that type of thing.
Exactly.
Well, Nancy, thanks for spending some time with us here today.
Okay, well,
All
thank
right.
you for having me.
Nancy Hutchins, she is an elected official, the Branch County Register of Deeds. I'm Tim Hart, and you're watching Our Community.